Jah is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Has he said, and shall he not do it? Or has he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he has blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He has not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither has he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his Jah is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. Rastafari. Jah brought them out of Egypt. He has, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel. What has Jah wrought? Rastafari. Behold, the people shall rise up like a great lion, giving thanks on this Thanksgiving Day. Rise reports. Headline of the time: beautiful wind, beautiful weather, sunshine. Truly blessed. Truly blessed. Speaking on ISIS, situation continues. U.S. airstrikes have left 52 civilians dead. They're now the self-declared ISIS. They moved on to the group known as ISIS, to the self-declared ISIS, or the group that calls themselves ISIS. But the main shift is to IS. The main shift is to the Islamic State, because the word state is the most important. The word state will give them the reason to campaign for traditional style war, as opposed to this covert war that the administration has tried and failed, which of course is this kind of this underneath war where agents are hired overseas to do the dirty work. The traditional war is when you bring in actual military, you bring in actual artillery, and you make it known that you are attacking a particular enemy, as opposed to the war against terror. We've seen these 6 beheadings now. These all European people. The parents have come on. They've expressed very little emotion. The comments, some of the language that's used, you know, the world is broken, is absolutely right on. It's just that the way it's being addressed would lead one to feel very skeptical. And in particular, the question I would have is, why would, with everything that we know, clearly know, you know, Omar the Chechen, you know, these foreign fighters that were hired, trained by the CIA, that were in CIA prisons, why wouldn't those questions be presented? Why would the mother of that son that got his head cut off, why would she not ask those questions about the origin of this group? Because it seems that, you know, the whole propaganda campaign is so that people are in fear of their lives, of these foreign jihadists, and the only solution is to eliminate foreign jihadists, which we know is virtually impossible, because for everyone you kill, you're going to have more enemies, because they have children. You know, they have people that they're close to. So what is, like, the generals are behind a lot of these military industry groups, and there's a lot of profit being made. I mean, is that the only driving force? Because to me it seemed, you know, absurd that we would go through everything we've had to go through just to generate profit for the military-industrial complex. There has to be more to it, and I see that there is more. There's more from an ideological standpoint. Again, the New World Order has to do with the elimination of the true believers from the earth, because Babylon always wanted to contain the views, contain those thoughts of its servants, as would any slave master. And so that's what we're dealing with. You know, they say that they can't negotiate with terrorists. Well, other countries have negotiated with terrorists. We're in a coalition with other countries. Why would we be any differently? Why would we be any differently? The FBI, when there's a ransom, when there's a kidnapping, they wait in the bushes, and they come and they plant the money there, but they come out of the bushes and they end up arresting the person. So could anything like that make sense as a viable alternative to just sitting and watching people supposedly get their heads cut off? They're mentioning the flag, ISIS flag, is very effective. It's all over the networks, all over the TV. Well, why is that? Why is that? The banking system. ISIS has a banking system. Well, somebody needs to ask, how did they manage to get a banking system which took us hundreds, maybe perhaps thousands of years to develop in just a matter of months? If you have people that are cutting people's heads off and they really have that in their heart, certainly it's questionable whether they have the skills necessary to be able to develop financial institutions in a matter of months. It was reported that James Foley's mother actually was called by a group that called themselves the Free Syrian Army that was attempting to extract the ransom out of them. So that is another interesting thing. If that's true, if it wasn't actually ISIS that kidnapped James Foley, if it was the Free Syrian Army, then the question arises: did they get paid? Was there some kind of a breach in contract between the United States intelligence and the Free Syrian Army? Of course, because we know the Free Syrian Army is the opposition to Bashar Assad, and it's at the behest of the European colonial interest. Another thing they mention is, we need to beat ISIS at their own game. So the fact that the media puts this kind of information out there to tell ISIS that, regarding, ransoms and kidnappings and this and that, this is our strategy, we're going to beat them at their own game, and let's just go ahead and tell everybody. It's just stupidly silly. They won't tell us who some of these officials are. They're anonymous. They won't tell us, some of the strategies about the bombing campaigns, but they want to tell us some other things, as if ISIS or somebody who's up behind the group is not listening to what the news is saying. It's absurd. New York Times reported across Pakistan, the Islamic State flag and other items of propaganda are being shown, from urban slums to Taliban strongholds. The Reuters reported that the Taliban has pledged support for the Islamic State, which we've already debunked, and there's community leaders which are saying this is complete exaggeration. Abdul Razaz, a community leader, said that. A former Taliban spokesman, Maqbool, M-A-Q-B-O-O-L, openly pledged loyalty to Islamic State. This is the same person that Reuters is referring to. So this is a former Taliban spokesman. So the idea now is to tie the Taliban with ISIS.